Summer sun, pain-free, that's the goal. But many people unconsciously make mistakes, especially during the hot season. And those can harm the body in the long run.
And that's why we're sharing 5 tips today that you should absolutely avoid, and they'll show you how to feel better afterward to handle the heat effectively.
Of course, we all wish for warm, nice, pleasant summer weather. But especially for older people, it's important to keep an eye on tips to simply handle it better.
And I think one of the most essential pieces of advice, which everyone knows about but frequently neglects, is that not enough water is being consumed daily. And that's why you have to drink plenty. You have to ensure that your body's water balance remains properly maintained. Usually the general recommendation is that 2 liters a day is sufficient. However, when it's this hot and we're sweating more, it's absolutely essential to increase our daily fluid intake significantly. Yes, more fluids. And if you now think, oh my goodness, even more water, that's right, definitely aim for 2 liters of water daily. But the water, you simply take it in the form of watermelon or in the form of cucumbers or in the form of grapes, that is, in the form of edible water. And then you have enough fluids, but furthermore, you also gain the added benefits of fruits and vegetables. They are packed with a lot of essential minerals and vitamins. Additionally, did you know that fruits like melon can actually help cool your body down effectively?
Tip number 2, when doing endurance training, which I definitely recommend, always pay attention to when you do it, particularly on hot days. You always think not around midday, but that's a bit of a misconception because around midday, everything is just starting to heat up. And you know that the hottest periods are between 2 to 5 p.m. Just take a look at the thermometer if you want to be really precise about it. Definitely, I would suggest that you run very early in the morning when the air is still nice, fresh, and perfectly clear and crisp. That's the best option. Or else when it's already cooled down in the evening. Though too late at night, a proper endurance run can slightly affect the quality of your sleep. Well, there's a lot to be said for getting it done first thing in the morning. They do say the early bird catches the worm, after all. So use that for your endurance.
Yes, and then many people now think, okay, the sun is shining, I need to soak up as much sun as possible, it's healthy. But honestly, most people soak up the sun the wrong way. Namely, they go out in the scorching midday heat, which is completely unhealthy and extremely exhausting for the body to handle. There's obviously a big risk of sunburn too, and that's exactly why so many people end up using sunscreen or protective gear. Sunscreen with a really high SPF, which in this situation naturally makes a ton of sense to use and is highly effective. But it's much better to head out a bit earlier in the day to soak up some sunlight and naturally boost your vitamin D levels. And that means going without sunscreen, but only for up to 20 minutes before the body, or more specifically, the skin begins to burn from the sun's intense rays. And so we can actually make sure that we get enough vitamin D, especially during the summer months when the sun is at its strongest.
Tip number 4, too hot for exercise. You can definitely understand it. When the heat is oppressive and the air is still, doing exercise is something I can totally relate to. But please keep in mind you might plan a summer vacation and enjoy some outdoor hiking activities. Perhaps you want to start surfing or take on something entirely new that your body hasn't been accustomed to before. And in that moment, I would strongly recommend you to get moving, but not any strenuous activity. Do our exercises. If you prepare with our exercises, then you can hike much better and take your surf course more easily because the muscles are already used to it and fully prepared. Maybe avoid doing your strength training, endurance, or high-intensity workouts in the heat. That's something you really shouldn't do. But you can even do the exercises during siesta, at noon, when it's in the shade and there's a little breeze because the exercises aren't strenuous, and you can totally adjust the intensity factor by simply reducing the counter tension a bit.
Well, and what can often be improved as well are the meals that are available for daily consumption and regular intake. It starts with the fact that in summer, you should generally aim to consume a bit less than usual. You might have experienced it, particularly when you consume greasy or heavy types of food. Then you sweat like crazy, which is completely normal. That's why choosing smaller portions and reducing greasy, heavy meals would be a smart move, because as I mentioned, you'll end up sweating significantly less in the end. That way, the body has much more energy to deal with the heat more effectively as well. That's why my recommendation is to make sure you include plenty of fresh food in your meals during this time of year. So that includes salads in any form, but also fresh fruit in all its different varieties. All of that cools the body down, provides you with plenty of essential micronutrients that your body really needs right now for optimal functioning. And if you still feel like having something warm, you should maybe go for something steamed, something light and easy on the stomach, especially in the evening, so that you can still manage to get a reasonably good night's sleep despite the heat. For those who sweat a lot, it's a good idea to consider taking a supplement now, like magnesium, to help replenish lost minerals and better support your body's daily functions. Because when we sweat a lot, we simply lose a lot of minerals. That's why an extra dose of magnesium, maybe with a bit of potassium and some calcium in it, would be quite beneficial for maintaining your body's balance.
If combining these components and figuring out the right dosage feels challenging, that's precisely why we developed our base product for this purpose.
So if you know someone who sweats a lot, definitely send them this video. They'll definitely thank you for it.